Want the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
You can't handle the truth!
Well, we're giving you the Michigan Sports Truth, the show that reveals facts, truth, research, and statistics and never messes around. We lay down the entire truth about everything regarding your Detroit and Michigan sports teams, no matter if it's good or bad. No junk, no entertainment, no homerism, no coddling, no pop culture, no opinions, no shilling, and no fluff. Head over to our website at MichiganSportsTruth.com, follow us on Twitter at Michigan_Truth, and like our Facebook page, The Michigan Sports Truth. The hosts of the Michigan Sports Truth podcast do not take any suggestions or criticism from any member of its audience on how it should be run. It is up to the host to decide what they want to cover. They also do not intend to be any amount of popular in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Additionally, the views of the audience, right or wrong, do not reflect the actual truth revealed on this program.
Welcome to another Postgame Edition of the Michigan Sports Truth on Spreaker. Taylor Phillips and Louis Tenore. Follow me on Twitter at DT2Phillips with 2 L's. Tigers get embarrassed by the last place Kansas City Royals 10-6 at Kauffman Stadium. My God. Boy, we needed that. Our tanking system, we needed that. Yeah. Jose Iglesias showing off his bad attitude when striking out. Get the hell off this team, Jose. You suck at hitting, Jose Iglesias. The Tigers don't freaking need you. But then again, they're too loyal. They're too loyal to release Miguel Cabrera for nothing and eat up the rest of his contract after he becomes even more injury prone, suffering a right hamstring sprain. Man. This team sucks. This organization sucks. Chris Ilitch, most importantly, sucks as an owner. This town of Detroit is a joke. They deserve to have their teams tank. Tigers, Red Wings, and Pistons. But what they do need is a winning Lions franchise. We're all sick and tired of the Lions being a losing franchise historically. It's got to take process, but the Tigers, let's get back to them. They give up 10 runs to the last place Kansas City Royals. And that's exactly what I hoped for. I don't know about you people, but the Tigers continue to piss off their fans. They continue to disrespect their fans. Jose Iglesias, Joe Nathan, Tyler Collins. How the hell come the Tigers are still in second place? Because they're playing very freaking bad teams. Terrible. The Royals are 9-22. 9-22. And the Tigers gave up 10 runs and lost to them. I don't care if it's on the road or at home. It's just embarrassing. Embarrassing enough for the tanking process. I hope the Tigers get swept. They may lose 3 or 4, or split the series, like they split the series with the Royals at Comerica Park the last time. The Royals just may take 3 or 4, maybe sweep them, one of the two. Miguel Cabrera is becoming more injury prone. Like I said before, right hamstring sprain, the Tigers should have to release Miguel Cabrera And they would if they had the balls instead of the loyalty. The business balls, you know what I mean? But then again, they're too loyal. Chris Ilitch is too loyal. The organization is too loyal. The town is too loyal. Sorry, but that's just the way it is in the Detroit area. F it all. Tigers and Royals, 8-15. Lions trade defensive tackle Akeem Spence to the Miami Dolphins for a 2019 conditional draft pick. It's undisclosed, but that's because you can't wait till next year to find out who it is. Wait till the next year's NFL draft to find out who it is. You gotta wait. Don't report it undisclosed. Just name it a conditional draft pick for 2019. That's next year. I think they went a little bit too. I think the media became a little bit too explanatory on it. Every future draft pick is undisclosed. Get that word out of here. So with that in mind, it's time for Louis Tenore's National Sports Report. Louis, take it away.
Okay, you got it. And I was just reading something on Ichiro Suzuki over here. And the story... Oh, first we'll do the scores and first. We'll do the MLB first. As we had some day games going over today, and it was a close one between the Yankees and the Houston Astros. The Yankees pulled it out 6-5. Yes. Shreve got the win. Maris got the loss, and Chapman got the save. Well, Chapman's still in. Oh, well. At the end of 9, oh boy, we got a doozy here. As the Blue Jays and the Indians are tied at 9. Due up is Hernandez, Solitaire, and Pilar, as the case may be. Bottom 6, Dodgers leading the Diamondbacks 5-2. Runners on first and second, 1 out. Garcia is pitching, and Marti is batting. Finals over here now. The Nationals swept the Pirates 3-1. Oh boy. Solis got the win. Williams got the loss, and Doolittle got the save. Braves crushed the Mets 11-1. That I'm very surprised at. Teheran got the win, and Vargas got the loss. Big time. As we mentioned, the Royals over the Tigers 10-6. McCarthy got the win, and Bell got his bell rung in the loss. Blue Jays Indians delayed in this game here because the first game hasn't ended yet. All right. Coming up, the Red Sox will face the Rangers in about 1 hour. Price and Minor are your starting pitchers. 8-10, Twins and the White Sox. For Lopez and Osadani will be starting pitchers in that matchup. 10:07, Orioles versus the Angels. Tillman and Maria are your starting pitchers. And at 10:10, the Athletics take on the Mariners. Bernia and LeBlanc are your starting pitchers in that game. And boy, we got a story to tell you about that pitching matchup last night. So let's check the standings here. And they go like this. And now it's going to get very interesting in the American League. Okay. First up, I believe that the Red Sox still have a very slight lead over the Yankees since they haven't played yet. Okay. The American League East starts off like this. The Red Sox are 22-8, have a game-and-a-half lead over the Yankees at 23-10. Blue Jays 17-13, 5 back, depending on the outcome of this game. Rays 13-16, 8.5 back, and the Orioles 8-22 at 14 back already. Ugh. Central Division, the Indians are 16-13, 3.5 ahead of the Tigers at 13-17. The Twins are 10-16, 4.5 back. The White Sox 8-20, 7.5 back, and the Royals 9-22 at 8 back. Boy, that division is pathetic. Western Division, the Astros, despite the loss, are 20-13, have a half-game lead over the Angels at 18-12. The Mariners are 1 game back at 17-12. Oakland is 15-15 at 3.5 back, and the Rangers are 12-20 at 7.5 back. In the National League, surprise, surprise, the Braves have now taken over the lead, 19-11. When was the last time they were in first? About what, 2004? Mets have fallen to a game and a half back at 17-12. The Phillies are 2 back at 17-13. The Nationals 4 back at 16-16, coming along nicely, and the Mariners hanging around at 8 back at 11-19. In the National Central, Brewers are 19-13, have a half-game lead over the Cardinals at 17-12. The Cubs are a game back at 16-12. Pirates only 2 out at 17-15, and the Reds are sinking ship right now at, I think, 11.5 back at 7-24. Ugh. The West, the D-backs are 21-10, have a 4.5 game lead over the Rockies at 17-15. Giants 16-15, 5 back. Dodgers 7 back at 14-17, and the Padres at 11-21 at 10.5 back. All right. Yeah. For some teams, it gets late early. Oh boy. All right, tomorrow's schedule. As I'm sure there are only night games. Well, maybe one day game, we'll see. And they read like this. Yep, they're all night games. The Indians will take on the Yankees at 7:05. Also 7:05, the Phillies take on the Nationals. 7:10 games. The Marlins take on the Reds. The Rockies take on the Mets. The Blue Jays take on the Rays. 7:35, the Giants take on the Braves. 8:05, Red Sox take on the Rangers. 8:10 games. Pirates take on the Brewers. The Twins take on the White Sox. 8:15, your Tigers take on the Royals in Game 2. Take on the Cardinals. 9:10, Dodgers take on the Padres. 9:40, the Astros take on the Diamondbacks. Should be a good one. 10:05, Orioles take on the Athletics. At 10:10, the Angels take on the Mariners. All right, so that takes care of that. And, of course, we'll have the scores later on. So now let's go to the NBA for tonight's games. As a matter of fact, we have a game in progress right now. Yes, really. And it's the Raptors versus the Cavaliers. And right now, the Raptors are up 61-55 with just about 2 minutes to go and change in the second quarter. Starting early. I like that, though. Right now, Kevin Love has 17 points, 6 rebounds, and an assist. Kyle Lowry has 18 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. And the other game to follow will be the Sixers and the Celtics coming up approximately about 8:30. Tomorrow's schedule goes like this. The Warriors take on the Pelicans at 8. Durant will be your players to watch in that game. I'm not surprised. And at 10:30, the Rockets will take on the Jazz. Harden and Gobert are your players to watch in that game. And that series is tied at 1 apiece after a thrilling upset last night. I'll explain more about that a little bit later. All right, so shall we go to the ice? Okay. As we're heating up now in the NHL, as we're now approaching midway point in the second round. Boy, time flies during this season, doesn't it? All right, so coming up, just about getting started. If it hasn't already, the Capitals are taking on the Penguins right now, and at 9:30, the Predators will take on the Jets. That's for today. Tomorrow, we also have 2 games on the schedule, and they are as follows. The Lightning will take on the Bruins at 7 o'clock, and at 10 o'clock, the Sharks take on the Golden Knights. That series is tied 2 games apiece. I am not surprised by that at all. Because I can tell right now, it's going 7. If I'm lying, I'm dying. All right, so now we'll get on to the news items of the day. As I mentioned, Seattle Mariners outfielder Ichiro Suzuki is transitioning out of the playing role and will serve as a special assistant to the chairman, effective today. The team announced, "We want to make sure to capture all the value that Ichiro brings this team off the field," says manager Jerry Pito in a statement. "This new role is a way to accomplish that. While it will evolve over time, the key is that Ichiro's performance in our clubhouse and with the players and staff improves our opportunity to win games. That is our number 1 priority, and that is Ichiro's number 1 priority. It should be." The Mariners said Ichiro, a 10-time All-Star and the 2001 American League MVP, will provide input on the outfield play, base running and hitting, while serving as a mentor to players and staff. The move precludes Ichiro from rejoining the active roster for 2018. Ichiro's agent, John Boggs, said the move is a way for the outfielder to remain with the Seattle organization while keeping his options open for 2019 and beyond. Boggs said Ichiro is not, I repeat, not retiring. Interesting. Seattle is where it wants to be. Seattle is where he wants to be and where he's more comfortable. Boggs told ESPN he is very appreciative of bringing them back. This was the most creative way to keep him within the organization and still give him an opportunity to play if that's what he wants. What happens next year? Yeah, well, that's next year. At this point, he does not intend to retire. Obviously, he will not be playing in 2018, but in 2019, who knows? Although I find that kind of weird. DiPietro added the team hopes to reach a long-term deal that keeps Ichiro with the Mariners. With Ichiro's track record of success, his personality is unique. Perspective and his work ethic, he is singularly positioned to impact both our younger players and the veterans in the clubhouse. Peter said, "We really don't want to change anything that he's doing right now, with the exception that he will not be playing in games. So he's with the manager now, but not retiring." I find that very odd. Go figure that one out. All right. Well, Knicks fans, good news. We got ourselves a new head coach. David Fizdale agrees to become the next head coach of the New York Knicks, according to ESPN. Fizdale met with Knicks owner James Dolan today in New York, who gave his approval to President Steve Mills and General Manager Scott Perry to enter contract negotiations with Fizdale. League sources said that Fizdale, who coached the Grizzlies in the Western Conference during his one full season as head coach, was New York's number 1 prime target from the start of the team's searching process. Yeah, now let's see if you can win some games next year, pal. Could be worse. You could be the Phoenix Suns. All right, moving on. There'll be changes in the New York Jets roster as Bryce Petty has been released. Thank goodness. Sources confirmed to ESPN today. This comes 1 week after selecting Sam Darnold, 3rd in the overall selection in last week's draft. This leaves 4 quarterbacks on the roster. Darnold, of course, McCown, Teddy Bridgewater and Christian Hackenberg. The Jets will likely only carry 3 in the regular season. They tried to trade Petty during the draft, but there were no takers. Oh, gee, I wonder why. Petty was a 4th-round draft pick in 2015 and posted a miserable 1-for-6 as a starter over the past 2 seasons. All told, he had 4 touchdown passes and 10 interceptions and complete only 53% of his attempts. He was pressed into duty last season when McCowan suffered a season-ending hand injury in the 13th game of the season. Petty struggled in the final 3 games of the season, as the Jets only scored a total of 32 points and ended up losing all 3 games. What a sorry state that was. Ugh. Continuing on, 76ers co-owner Mark Rubin will intend to bring freed rapper Meek Mill to Boston for Game 2. Sources tell ESPN Mill, a native of Philadelphia, was released from prison on April 24th on bail with the help of Rubin. Picked him up from a Pennsylvania prison in a helicopter and brought him to the Sixers' closeout Game 5 victory over the Miami Heat. Mill, who had become friends with several of the team players and met with team personnel before and after the Sixers won Game 5 over the Heat. Rubin hopes that his presence will help to inspire the Sixers as they look to avoid a 2-0 deficit. The rapper had been fighting a 2 to 4 year prison sentence for a probation violation. He was jailed in 2017 for failing a drug test, traveling outside his region, and getting arrested for allegedly fighting and other related offenses. Prosecutors have believed that Mills should get a new trial because of the question raised about the credibility of the officer of his 2017 arrest. Fascinating. All right. MLB will announce within the next week that the Yankees and the Red Sox are going to play 2 games next season at London's Olympic Stadium in June of next year. A person that is close to the planning told the Associated Press the person on condition to there's no public comment that's been authorized at this time. The 2019 games are set for June 29th and June 30th. This will be the first time that games will be played in Europe during the regular season. Now, keep this in mind, that the Red Sox and Yankees both have ties, baseball-wise, to London. I'll explain why. By the way, the Red Sox will be the home team for both games. Don't ask me why, though. News conference will be set for Tuesday with MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred as president, but did not announce any subject matter. Both teams have a European connection. The Fenway Group is the parent company of the Red Sox and Liverpool in the Premier Soccer League. The Yankees have an ownership stake in the Premier League's Manchester City in the New York Football Club team in the MLS. So there are ties to this. So it obviously makes sense. But I think a better idea was to have them split themselves as home teams. There's only 2 games. Boston plays one as their home team and the Yankees play one home team. Why should Boston get both? You call that fair? I don't. All right, well, Jason Witten, the tight end for the Dallas Cowboys, has announced his retirement and is planning to join the Monday Night Football crew as an analyst. Multiple sources told ESPN today a press conference was scheduled for 3 o'clock Eastern Time, 2 o'clock in Dallas. Witten has been pondering the decision for almost a week, alternating almost hour by hour between taking the Monday Night Football job or playing for his 16th season with the Cowboys, which would set a franchise record for the longest tenure of the team. Sources say he has informed owner and general manager Jerry Jones and head coach Jason Garrett of his decision. Sources had said he leaned heavily on Jones before coming to a conclusion. Witten turns 36 this weekend. Happy birthday. Was not reached for comment on Wednesday. Executive Vice President Stephen Jones said there was no timetable for Witten to make an immediate decision. Another network made what was considered an interesting offer that would have allowed him to keep playing in 2018 and walk away in 2019, according to a source, which did not give its name. Ultimately, he opted to retire and start a new chapter in his life of one of the most successful runs in franchise history. After ESPN reported during the draft about Witten's intentions to retire and join Monday Night Football, Garrett, as well as other coaches, actively persuaded him to keep playing, according to the source. Well, obviously that is not going to happen. Well, we certainly wish him luck. Okay, now that Mariners story. Mariners pitcher James Paxton, get this, struck out 16 batters of the Oakland Athletics last night, but guess what? They still lost the game. Yeah.
Same way with the Tigers today.
Yeah. The Mariners bullpen, of course, blew the lead. Paxton led after 7 innings, then watched Jed Lowry hit a 2-run homer off Juan Isacino in the 8th inning, and Mark Canina opened up with a home run in the 9th inning off of Edwin Diaz, who has allowed only 1 earned run in 15 appearances. The collapse of the bullpen shattered Paxton's accomplishment. He had posted the highest strikeout total by a Mariners pitcher since the big unit himself, Randy Johnson, who struck out 19 batters on August 8th of 1997. I remember that. How do you like that? You had the highest strikeout total in over 20 years, and you still lost. Oh, my goodness. The Phoenix Suns have come to terms with Jazz assistant Igor Kosnov to become the franchise's next head coach. Both sides reached an agreement on a 3-year contract, league sources told ESPN last night. Kosnov is a native of Siberia, will become the first NBA coach born and raised outside North America in NBA history. The Sun says he will begin his head coaching duties once the season with the Jazz concludes. The Suns general manager Ryan McDougal met with him in Houston on Sunday before the start of Game 1 and moved quickly to make an offer. League sources told ESPN the Suns, who finished NBA worst at 21-61, are working on a major rebuild and need to start crafting a roster and culture around Devin Booker. Kosnov is considered one of the finest assistant coaches in the NBA for the past 18 years, including a 5-year run with the Suns from 2008 to 2013. Jazz coach Quinn Snyder and general manager Dennis Lindsey have credited Kosnov with a great deal of growth with the Jazz. The Jazz young roster. Okay, more here. Jazz rookie sensation Donovan Mitchell throws a thunderous dunk last night as he went up for a rebound on his own miss in the 4th quarter of last night's victory. Mitchell said, "I was just trying to shoot a floater and grab a rebound, but I just happened to be there." Mitchell said after evening up the series with the win of the Rockets, so I figured, why not come down with it? His right-handed put-back dunk was the highlight of the Jazz upset over the Rockets last night. Rockets are the top seed. Mitchell, of course, is also the reigning NBA slam dunk champion. So that also might have played a role in that dunk last night. Those of you who missed last night's scores, in the NHL, the Sharks blanked the Knights 4-0. The series is even at 2. We have a series now, folks, in this, just like I thought it was going to be. And the Jazz over the Rockets 116-108. Yeah, I knew this series was going to go 7 anyway. I mean, I'm not surprised we saw it's tied at 2 when you really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not surprised. Just finding out something here about the Atlanta Falcons that you might find interesting. Falcons quarterback Matt Ryan. Oh my goodness, you ready for this, folks? To get $100 million guaranteed. I think I just saw somebody fall off their chair when hearing that announcement. Okay, let me see here. Yeah, quarterback Matt Ryan has agreed to a 5-year contract extension with the Falcons, and sources tell ESPN's Chris Mortensen the deal will make Ryan the first NFL player to earn $30 million per year. The deal includes $100 million guaranteed, sources say. Oof. Ryan, who will turn 33 on May 17th, was entering the 5-year, $100.3 plus million extension he signed in July of 2013. Minnesota's Kirk Cousins set the previous record for average annual salary at $28 million, followed by San Francisco's Jimmy Garoppolo, $27.5 million, and your Detroit Lions' Matthew Stafford at $27 million even. Not too shabby, if I do say so myself. Falcons general manager Thomas Dimitroff said signing Ryan to an extension was the team's top off-season priority. Owner Arthur Blank told ESPN that Ryan would be compensated well after being named the NFL MVP and helping the Falcons to the Super Bowl during the 2016 season before that monumental collapse in the game itself. That is getting what he has earned, and we all know the marketplace for a great quarterback. Blank said today, league revenues are up, club revenues, new stadiums, and the players are at the heart of the game. They're the ones on the field, and they certainly deserve their fair share. I won't argue with that. Ryan was the number 3 pick in the 2008 draft out of Boston College and hasn't missed a start since December of 2009. He owns 20 franchise records and has thrown for more than 4,000 yards in each of his past 7 seasons. He reached the 40,000 career passing yards in an NFL record of 151 games and holds the league mark with 64-game streak of 200-plus passing yards. Very impressive. Ryan has completed 3,630 of 5,593 passes, that's 64.9%, or 41,796 yards with 260 touchdowns, 126 interceptions, and a passer rating of 93.4 through 158 career games in 10 seasons, and a partnership in territory to go with that. Now, his regular season is 95-63. Ryan, though, is 4-6 in the playoffs, with 2 NFC Championship games and 1 Super Bowl appearance under his belt. A little bit more here. Blank said that Ryan is the model face of the franchise, a great leader, as he has embraced our values. He has led us to the team, has led us on and off the field. Not all teams are so lucky. Yeah, I can tell you that right now. You always hope that when you use a high first-round draft pick on a quarterback, you hope to become the next Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, or Dan Marino, etc., etc. But about 50% of the quarterbacks taken don't pan out, according to Blank. Isn't that the truth? Right tackle, Ryan, Junior Cole Ryan, the best in the league. I have looked up to him my whole career, he said. I envy the player, leader, and warrior that he is. He will be here to lead us to a Super Bowl victory in the future. No doubt in my mind. I don't know if that's being having an ego or really meaning it. Blank said the Falcons selected Alabama wide receiver Calvin Ridley because when you have a guy like that, you want to build around him. Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. So maybe there's hope for the Lions after all. Never hope. All right, and it's now 63-61 Raptors over the Cavaliers. Man, this game is going to be good. Found a couple of hockey notes here. Coyotes acquire Marcus Kruger in a deal with the Hurricanes for Jordan Martinook. They acquired in exchange. Okay. Under the terms of the deal announced today, the teams also swapped later round draft picks, and the Hurricanes will retain 10% of Kruger's salary, or about $300,000 of the roughly $3 million Kruger is set to make in the 2018-2019 season. Martinook has 6 goals and 9 assists in 81 games during his 4th NHL season. Kruger, 27, had 1 goal and 5 assists in his only season with the Hurricanes, who acquired him last summer from Vegas for a draft pick. Well, okay, so he's starting a little slow. Big deal. Go bounce back. Found something interesting here. Concerning the Blue Jackets, their star Zach Werenski, that is, had surgery on a shoulder injury that has been bothering him since the early start of the 2017-2018 season. So what'd you wait for, dummy? The team says full recovery is expected to take 5 to 6 months. General manager Jeremo Kalinian said Werenski will be ready by the start of the season or shortly thereafter. Yeah, but it's been bugging you that long. Why did you wait till now? I mean, really. He underwent the procedure today in Columbus.
In fact, why wait at all, huh?
Yeah, I mean, are you saying it doesn't really hurt, or are you just denying the surgery? You're like, are you denying the pain? Brady cat.
At least tell the truth.
Yeah. Don't be a putz. He said after the playoffs that the injury from the game in October affected his slap shot the rest of the season. Oh, my God. Still, he and Seth Jones each scored 16 goals, a franchise record for defensemen, and 4th in the NHL among blue liners. He has 27 goals and 57 assists in 155 career NHL games over the past 2 seasons. Yeah, but you're still stupid for delaying it for 6 months with the surgery. What a dope. If it bothers you that bad, get it right away, then you might have to miss the whole season, and you want to wait around 5 or 6 months to get better. There's a word for that, as you obviously well know, and that word is... Okay, I guess I'll have to say it. Dumbass. I was waiting for you to say it. The password is dumbass. Okay, sad news though from the hockey world. Bill Torrey, the jovial bow tie wearing Hall of Famer, who was the general manager of the New York Islanders when they won 4 consecutive Stanley Cups in the 1980s. I want to puke when I hear that. And eventually became the first president of the Florida Panthers, has passed away at the age of 83. He passed away in his home in southern Florida last night, the NHL said. There is no cause right now for what the death was, though he was not known to be in any sort of poor health. Torrey, who spent the last several years of his career as an advisor to Florida general manager Dale Talon, also serving as the franchise alternate governor, was at work like usual in his Panthers office earlier this week. Mr. Torrey, or Bill as they call him, was a giant of our game, Talon said. He was the architect of a dynasty, a hockey Hall of Famer, and most importantly, a committed family man. I'm heartbroken by the news of his passing. Bill was a mentor, a dear friend, who was instrumental in bringing me to South Florida alongside with him. He was a wonderful person who never lost his passion for the game and loved being at the rink, especially when it came to being my Rangers. Thank you very much. Torrey left an incredible impact on hockey, particularly the Islanders and the Florida Panthers. He was the first employee in the Islanders' history when the franchise was born in 1972. I was only 2 years old at the time. And a team raised a banner in his honor years ago, calling him the Architect. Torrey then became Florida's first president, and the Panthers gave him a banner in 2010 with the number 93. A nod to the 1993 when the team played its first game. Florida reached the Stanley Cup final in 1996 under Torrey, going to Colorado earlier that season. They lost in 4 games, and that Game 4 took till about 1:05 a.m. The next day. Triple overtime. I couldn't even stay awake for that. Anyway, later that earlier season, Torrey went into the Hall of Fame as a builder who specialized in taking expansion teams and turning them into a quick powerhouse. NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman said Torrey was a true legend of our game. I always thought of him as, Bettman as the Antichrist. Ooh. His imprint is on virtually every team in our league, as he personally mentored and inspired generations of NHL general managers who have followed him and established the team-building blueprint based upon scouting, drafting, and player development that today remains the model for lasting success. Those are the words of Gary Bettman. Yes. Brian Burke, a longtime hockey executive, asked Torrey for some advice in the early 90s and remembered getting about a 4-sentence answer on how to build a club. Not much for words, are you? Burke never forgot any of those words, and they became the guide that has used ever since. Even putting together the 2010 U.S. Olympic team that lost to a classic gold medal game against host Canada and the Vancouver Games, which went to sudden death overtime. I remember that very well. And what Torrey did, Burke said, will never be matched. Though Torrey won 4 consecutive Stanley Cups with the Islanders, Burke said in 2011, it will never be done again in a salary cap system. I think you're lucky to win 2 cups every 10 years, but you will never win 4 in a row with this format. I'm afraid he's right. More personal things here. He was born June 23rd, 1934 in Montreal. He also was with the AHL Pittsburgh Hornets in the 1960s and started his NHL career in 1967 when he was executive vice president of the now-defunct California Seals, which didn't go very far at all. And then went to the Islanders in 72, giving them 4 cups, and the Panthers in 93, and never left. Bill, you made hockey what it is, and I myself, as a fan of the game itself, we're going to miss you. So, rest in peace. All right, I'll just check the scores here for today's afternoon games before I hand it back over to you. And we go as follows. I wonder what that slugfest is going on right now. And top of the 11th, well, we got a change in the scoring here. Blue Jays are now up 13-9 over the Indians. Oh. Yeah, 2 out and nobody on. Olsen is pitching, and Pilar is at bat. And, of course, Game 2 is still delayed because we don't know when this game's going to end.
Another example of the AL Comedy Central.
Right. Dodgers over the D-backs, 5-2. And all the rest of the games will be later on. And right now, Cleveland is up 72-65 over Toronto. 3 minutes have elapsed in the third quarter. We're now down to 8:57 to go. And now it's 72-68. Yeah, they just scored. And finally in the NHL, right now, just to go up to speed here. Between the Capitals and the Penguins, 1:58 to go in the first period, and it is completely scoreless. All right, so my notes are finished for the day, so now I'll hand it back over to you.
All right. One quick note, Chris Ilitch should sell the Tigers and he will. Period. That being said, yep.
I do have one interesting, kind of on a happy note to finish. You're familiar with Patrick Beverley, of course, right?
Who?
Patrick Beverley. He's a NBA basketball player.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, it turns out in the story that I was just reading as I went along the headlines for today, his mother yesterday did something that I think has been like every person's, most person's dreams to do in their lifetime. She actually was on the Prices Right yesterday and actually wound up winning.
Oh,
how do you
cool.
like that?
Wow.
Yeah, she won a car. She won $1,000 on the wheel and won the showcase.
Oh my God.
Yeah. How do you like that?
Yeah.
I just thought I'd put that as a fun note,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Since it does involve an NBA player, and, let's hear from Mom.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that'll do it for me.
All right. Before we sign up, we want to remind everyone to share this episode on our entire podcast on social media, because we want to tell them that the Michigan Sports Truth podcast is in search of a wider audience that is fans of sports, especially our teams in the state of Michigan. So please spread the word about the Michigan Sports Truth podcast. Its Facebook page, The Michigan Sports Truth, and its Twitter handle at Michigan_Truth. For Louis Tenore, I'm Taylor Phillips. Follow me on Twitter at DT2Phillips. We'll talk to you tomorrow. We may have a weekend review later tonight with Ed Smith and myself. TTFN, ta-ta for now.
The hosts of the Michigan Sports Truth podcast do not take any suggestions or criticism from any member of its audience on how it should be run. It is up to the host to decide what they want to cover. They also do not intend to be any amount of popular in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Additionally, the views of the audience, right or wrong, do not reflect the actual truth revealed on this program.